Hi guys, Dan and Kai here again from Crescent Mortgages, and today we're going to be discussing the fees and costs incurred when you remortgage. It can vary from mortgage to mortgage, but there are kind of generally a select few that will likely come up, and often remortgaging can be a lot cheaper than people think it will be. So let's jump into it. Before we do, just to remind you that we are CMAP qualified mortgage and protection advisors with around 20 years combined experience in the industry. So not bad, eh? All right, let's jump into it. Okay, so the fees incurred when you remortgage. Now, some of these fees will pop up when you purchase as well, so some of them are still applicable, but today we're focusing on the cost of remortgaging, because again, remortgaging generally is the right thing to do 99% of the time when your current scheme comes to an end, whether that be with your existing lender or moving to a new lender. Today we're focusing on you moving to the cost of moving to a new lender, so shopping around across the market. Now, there are kind of, I think maybe 4 fees that we want to cover today that are generally the main ones that could pop up, and I think we'll probably cover them in descending order of cost. So starting with what can typically be the most expensive and going down from there. So number 1, arrangement fees.
Oh, it's a toss up between 2 fees then. Which one are you going to
Yeah.
go for? Yeah.
Go on then.
Arrangement fees. So an arrangement fee is a fee charged by the lender. And that is a fee that is ranging anywhere from nothing to maybe 2,000 top end. Average is normally 1,000 if you pay one. And often lenders will have 2 products for each scenario almost, and one will have a fee and one won't.
So you can choose generally, and it's trying to explain to people that actually arrangement fees aren't a bad thing. Of course, no one likes fees, but they're not a bad thing, because you have the option of either going for the scheme with a lower interest rate but where you have to pay a fee, or going for a scheme with a slightly higher interest rate but where you can usually avoid the fee. So you have the choice, and that's determined by the size of your mortgage. So if you have a particularly big mortgage, it's usually cheaper to go for the lower rate and pay a fee because you'll save more on that monthly payment. If you have a smaller mortgage, usually cheaper to go for a slightly higher rate but avoid the fee because that interest rate has less of a bearing on your monthly payment.
Yeah, and that's one where some comparison sites will tell you that, some won't, some brokers will tell you that, some won't, but really a broker should always see what it costs you over the 2 years.
Your broker should be working out the overall cost and which one's cheaper for you. Because if you go directly to your bank, they don't always do that. They'll sometimes just give you a list and say, take your pick, and you're left to kind of do the calculations to work out which one you think is the best. And we do see some clients making mistakes there. Just quickly with the arrangement fee, probably a really important point here, it can be added to the mortgage most of the time, so you don't have to worry about using your savings to cover it. It can usually be added to the loan and just wrapped into the mortgage, which maybe increases your payment by a couple of pounds depending on the term of your mortgage. So even though that's arguably the biggest fee normally, it can be added to the mortgage, so there's not actually any kind of outlay yourself. Next one,
broker fees. So broker fees. Yeah, so these can vary hugely. They can be very big, percentage of the mortgage perhaps.
Possibly thousands of pounds.
It could literally be thousands of pounds, and they again can be added on, or sometimes brokers are charged them up front. They do change in shape and size a bit more.
How low can they be?
They could, in theory, and it sounds ridiculous, they could be nothing.
Yeah, is it just theory?
It's not theory, no, because we actually charge nothing.
Just shoehorn that in there.
Yeah, that's our own little promo.
And we should just highlight that if a broker doesn't charge a broker fee, that doesn't mean that there's a sacrifice as far as the rates that you get or the service that you get. Every broker is paid a percentage by the bank at the end of the process. Some will choose to charge you a fee on top, others won't. So there are fee-free brokers such as ourselves where you get the same options, the same service, but you just don't charge a broker fee. So in this day, I mean, look, if you've already got a broker, they charge a fee, but you're really, really happy with them, you've got a great relationship with them, that we're not gonna hold it against you if you do pay them a fee. But there are fee-free brokers out there these days. So if you can find a good fee-free broker, it's a bit of a no-brainer, really. There's nothing to lose. That's broker. Next one, I don't know if I'd say descending order. The prices can vary. Probably valuation fee. So when you do a remortgage, the new lender will need to do a valuation. They'll normally send a surveyor either to the property or they may just do a drive-by valuation or just an online desktop valuation. You've got no control over which one they do, but they will just need to do some form of basic valuation for their own due diligence. If we're honest, most lenders give a free valuation on a remortgage these days, so the chances are 9 times out of 10 you won't have to pay for it.
Very
and if
rare.
you do go for a scheme that does charge for a valuation because that lender, let's say they've got a ridiculously good interest rate, so perhaps it's worth it with the overall costs, the evaluation fee can be very, very cheap. Some just maybe charge £100, for example, but more often than not, that's free. And then the final one to cover...
Legal costs. So you'll need a solicitor to move from one lender to another. Don't worry, it's a lot less complicated and a lot less money than when you buy or when you bought. But again, you'll normally get 2 options with solicitors. You'll either get an option where they'll say either free legal work or fee-assisted legal work. It varies ever so slightly, where it will cost nothing or almost nothing. And then you get other scenarios where a lender might give you cash back, £250, £500 maybe, and you source your own solicitors, or often your broker will help you source solicitors for you. Sometimes that one works out cheaper, sometimes it doesn't, but generally speaking, if you are paying for solicitors and you're getting cash back or they're fee assisted, you put tens of pounds.
Yeah, you'll maybe have to make either way. You'll normally just have to make up the shortfall, which providing it's a standard freehold property that you're purchasing. It might be £50, but maybe £100 tops usually that you have to make up the difference. So again, it's normally there or thereabouts, kind of nothing for the legal costs as well. Like I say, if there are, maybe probably no more than £100, depending on the details and the options you go for. So I think, without going into too much, I think that probably covers all of the main fees. So hopefully it illustrates that remortgaging can actually be really, really cheap. If the arrangement fees can be added to the loan, there are fee-free brokers, and the valuation are often free, legal fees normally minimal. And bear in mind that if you are remortgaging, it probably means that your scheme is coming to an end, which means that the alternative is that you move probably onto a much higher standard variable rate where you're paying significantly too much interest. So remortgaging is normally the right option, and it can be very cheap, but again, your broker will kind of weigh up the overall cost to pick the right scheme for you.
Yeah, I think it's quite conceivable that you would pay nothing on a remortgage, isn't it?
It's
if
very
you have a
possible.
relatively modest mortgage, it's very possible.
Absolutely.
But again, we'll check it's worthwhile.
Any questions, let us know. If you did have any kind of experiences yourself with remortgaging where you found that actually it was very expensive, or if actually you agree that it can be very, very cheap and it didn't really cost you anything, feel free to leave feedback in the comments. We'll always try and get back to you, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.